Praise be to Allah, the Lord of all worlds, who have guided to Islam, who made us the best ummah, and Allah's peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who guided us to the righteous. Here is Makkah al-Mukarramah. It is the Qibla of Muslims, and where their hearts is, and beside the Holy Mosque of Mecca. Here we are gathered in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where that has a very solid stand. His Excellency Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, the Minister of Islamic Affairs, Da'wah and Guidance, the President of the Conference, Your Excellencies, honorable scholars and distinguished guests. Allah's peace and blessings be upon you all. Welcome everyone to your second country and beside the Holy Mosque of Mecca in the 9th conference for the ministers of endowments and Islamic affairs in the Islamic world under the patronage of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. With the title this year, with the role of the ministers of Islamic affairs in promoting moderation and its values and principles, so that to enhance the common cooperation regarding the Islamic affairs and the role of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in having one word under the honor and patronage of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Your Excellencies, our distinguished guests, for the beginning of this conference, we'll start with the reciting of the Holy Mosque, of the Holy Quran, with the Imam of Abdul Jami' or King Abdul Aziz Mosque in Makkah al-Mukarramah.
الله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأتون يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم يوم تبيض وجوه وتسود وجوه فأما الذين اسودت وجوههم أكفرتم بعد إيمانكم فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكفرون وأما الذين ابيضت وجوههم ففي رحمة الله هم فيها خالدون تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وما الله يريد ظلما للعالمين.
Your Excellencies, our respected guests, will speak to you today His Excellency, the Minister of Islamic Affairs, Da'wah and Guidance of Saudi Arabia, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of all worlds, and may peace and blessings be upon the most honorable prophets and messengers, our Prophet Muhammad, and upon his family and all his companions. Your Excellencies, honorable scholars, and distinguished guests, my brothers, may the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you all. It is with great pleasure and gratitude that we gather today to hold the 9th Conference of Ministers of Endowments and Islamic Affairs in the Islamic world, here in the sacred city of Mecca, the cradle of revelation, the Qibla of Muslims, the center of their unity, and the symbol of their solidarity. This blessed event is held under the gracious patronage, the custodian of 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and with the close attention of His Highness the Crown Prince, Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. May Allah support them. This gathering affirms the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's commitment to unity and solidarity, and to the principle of consultation and cooperation in the righteousness and piety, especially in the light of the rapidly changing circumstances that required those responsible for Islamic affairs to take proactive steps to preserve and solidify our enduring principles. These efforts including confronting challenges and addressing them with knowledge, wisdom, and patience, while purifying religious discourse from misinterpretation. Since its founding by the righteous Imam King Abdul Aziz, may Allah have mercy on him, and through the reigns of his pious sons, and continuing into our prosperous era under the leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques and his faithful crown prince. May Allah protect them. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has been dedicated to promoting the message of moderate, balanced Islam, combating extremism and terrorism, and initiating actions that serve this noble cause. This includes upholding the preserving Islamic principles and values and earnestly advocating for them.
سبب للخير.
As the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, the strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. While there is good in both, strive for that which will benefit you, seek the help of Allah, and do not feel helpless. Sahih Muslim. Today, as those entrusted with Islamic affairs, we gather near the ancient house, the Qibla of Muslims, to discuss the theme of this conference, the role of ministries of endowments and Islamic affairs in promoting the principles of moderation and reinforcing the values of moderation. Our discussions will address the challenges of extremism and terrorism, the means of safeguard restrooms from extremist rhetoric, the promotion of coexistence and tolerance, the correction of religious discourse, the reinforcement of principles of moderation and balance, and the enhancement of citizenship in Islamic countries and its impact on societal stability. We will also address the particularities of Islamic identity in the context of cultural globalization. This requires cooperation, consultation, the activation of joint programs, and the exchange of experiences among member states. We must correct the understanding of religious discourse, activate the roles of imams, preachers, and religious guides, and ensure that most mosques fulfill their mission properly, with attention to everything that serves this mission, both technically and architecturally. Your Excellencies, honorable scholars, and distinguished guests, the Islamic principles and values we hold, combined with our sincere resolve, praise be to Allah, enable us to face challenges with firmness and determination. Our weapons are sincerity to Allah, knowledge, and wisdom, while benefiting from all possible means, including the new technologies such as artificial intelligence, which have imposed themselves as influential tools in society. These technologies play a significant role in shaping public opinion and thought, whether positively or negatively. Unfortunately, many extremist groups and advocates of atheism and moral decay have exploited these technologies, turning them into platforms for opposing established principles and values. This necessitates a serious stance to activate the positive use of these means in a manner that serves the public interest and protects societies from their dangers. In conclusion, this meeting is a blessing from Allah Almighty, where bodies and hearts have come together and ranks have united, with opinions converging to achieve the moderation of Islam and spread its noble values. We ask Allah to make us among those described in His words and hold firmly to the rope of Allah altogether and do not become divided. And remember the favor of Allah upon you when you were enemies, and He brought your hearts together, and you became, by His favor, brothers. I extend my sincere thanks for your gracious acceptance of this invitation, your presence, and your participation. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon our Prophet Muhammad and upon his family and all his companions.
السلام، العدل، التسامح، الوئام والوسطية والاعتدال هي رسالة الإسلام. وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا. منذ أن أمر الله تعالى خليله إبراهيم وولده إسماعيل ببناء البيت وامتثلا أمر الله تعالى، وقد دعوا الله أن يخرج من ذريتهما أمة مسلمة تعبد الله ولا تشرك به، فاستجاب الله دعاءهما وبعث نبينا محمدًا صلى الله عليه وسلم برسالة الإسلام إلى العالمين كافة، وجعل الله أمته خير أمة أخرجت للناس، فعم خيرها أنحاء الأرض، فكانت أمة الإسلام وما زالت أمة وسطا عدلا خيارا في كل أمور الدين، امتثالا لسنة هادين الرسول الكريم الداعي إلى الوسطية والاعتدال. إن هذا الدين يسر، ولن يشاد الدين أحد إلا غلبه، فسددوا وقاربوا وأبشروا ويسروا. والمملكة العربية السعودية مهد الرسالة ومهبط الوحي منذ تأسيسها على يد المغفور له الملك عبد العزيز بن عبد الرحمن آل سعود، تحمل لواء التوحيد والشريعة السمحاء، وهي قبلة للنور والإيمان ووجهة للتسامح والوسطية والاعتدال.
لقد قامت المملكة منذ أن أسسها الملك عبد العزيز رحمه الله على تطبيق شرع الله والالتزام بالعقيدة الإسلامية وعلى العدل في جميع الأمور والأخذ مبدأ الشورى.
ألتزم بدستور المملكة العربية السعودية اللي هو القرآن والسنة ونظامها الأساسي للحكم، وتطبيقه على أكمل وجه بمفهوم واسع يشمل الجميع.
التي تبنت هذا المبدأ العظيم منذ نشأتها على يد الإمام المجدد الملك عبد العزيز بن عبد الرحمن الفيصل طيب الله ثراه، وهي تحمل رسالة الإسلام الصافية وتنشر مبادئ العدل والرحمة والوسطية والاعتدال.
لله سبحانه وتعالى ترتفع الدعوات وتتعالى الأمنيات والطموحات بأن يكون التوفيق حليف المساعي، وأن تتكلل جهود المشاركين في المؤتمر بالنجاح لتحقيق رسالته السامية وتجسيد تطلعات قيادة المملكة العربية السعودية والدول المشاركة لنحقق جميعا أمة وسطا.
Your Excellencies, our honored guests, now we'll give the mic to the Minister of Endowments and Islamic Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco, Mr. Ahmed Tawfiq.
All praise and thanks to be Allah, Lord of all creations. Prayers and peace be upon the faithful Prophet, his family and companions. Your Excellency Sheikh Al-Latif Al-Sheikh, Minister of Endowments and Islamic Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Your Excellencies, may peace, mercy, and blessing of Allah be upon you. We thank Allah the Almighty for making this auspicious gathering possible. Gratitude is also extended to those who called for this conference in their continuous efforts to serve religion under the leadership of this country. The leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman, may Allah bless him, supported by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, may Allah protect him. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of this conference, as it seems to me, is concerned with the roles and responsibilities of the ministries of Islamic affairs of the Muslim majority countries. This topic poses a question that may require us to reconsider the situation we live in, and do not just pause for thought of it. It is the situation of the overall situation of planning and management for non-Islamic affairs. To make my point clearer regarding this issue, I need to highlight the situation I live in the Kingdom of Morocco. The Ministry of Endowments and Islamic Affairs is a member of a government consisting of more than 20 members. Each member is responsible for a specific sector concerned with the political, economic, social, and cultural affairs of the state. Nonetheless, the status of the Minister of Endowments and Islamic Affairs is characterized by several things, including but not limited to: although he is a member of the government, he has a special connection with the commander of the faithful, whom the Moroccans have throughout the ages called the defender of faith and Islam. The legal controls governing this ministry must be issued under royal decrees bearing the seal of the commander of the faithful before being published in the official gazette. Key officials in the ministry are appointed under royal decrees and not by government decisions. The policy and management of religious affairs is responsible for the commander of the faithful, not the government. It is according to the traditions of Morocco, based on bay'ah contract, a pledge of allegiance. It is a written contract on what has already been established in the constitution, that the official religion in Morocco is Islam. Rather, it reflects the outcome of the efforts of the Islamic countries looking for solutions during the last 2 centuries. The responsibilities of religious guidance of citizens at the level of ministry are assumed by 7 directorates, namely directorates of Islamic affairs, mosques, religious officials, tradition, education, legal affairs, administrative affairs, cooperation, and the Inspectorate General. At the regional level, The ministry has 12 delegates and 82 delegates at the local level, 1 delegate in each province. The ministry and all its apparatuses work only in service of the religious foundation responsible for guiding male and female citizens. It does not represent the Ulama's Foundation, as Ulama's Foundation works under the supervision of the Council of Religious Scholars. In the meantime, it is a constitutional foundation having a supreme scientific council headed by the commander of the faithful. It has a general secretariat and a regional and local presence, similar to the presence of the representatives of the ministries. In each local scientific council, there is a president and 12 members, including 4 female scholars. It is the minister. If the minister is a member of the Supreme Council of Ulamas, he does not have the authority to direct its policy. However, he serves it with the required means and measures. The preservation of religion and preservation of the self, the preservation of the reason, the preservation of the property and monetary, and the preservation of the knowledge. The seller is the nation represented by the scholars. The scientific institution believes that this commitment is what requires support and sustainability of renewed pledge once a year and on Friday sermon platforms by prayers and guardians. If this contract was earlier than the social contract known in the European history, it is because these objectives cover all the principles of contracting upon which the political system is based. Subject to the conclusion of human experiences, it adds to the constitutions an essential matter, which is the preservation of religion. That is the preservation of the meaning of life for believers. From this perspective, the various ministries serve religion by strengthening faith of the nation and promoting interests of people in security, justice, livelihoods, and the dignity of people, especially those in need and people with disabilities. The Ministry of Islamic Affairs, considering the situation in Morocco, is concerned with defending religion by responding to social needs required by acts of worship and fulfillment of pillars, including education, guidance, construction of mosques, and appointment of imams, and accurate determination of prayer times and the Hijri calendar associated with certain rituals such as Hajj, Ramadan fasting, and Eid occasions. To this effect, the ministry strives to defend the religion by ensuring the neutrality of mosques, various types of doctrinal, political, and social currents. In the same vein, scholars, ulamas, endeavor to clarify the values of moderation and balance. As an example, the symposium held by Supreme Council of Ulamas in 2007, where they applied Sharia evidence to refute the claims of terrorism with regard to the 11 concepts: free Islamic ignorance, the rightly guided caliphate, Shura al-Hakamiyya, governance, Khuruj, rebellion, non-sectarianism, Salafism, promotion of virtue and prevention of vice. To avoid this dichotomy between the state's operations and the Islamic context, it is proposed to view every minister as it handles an Islamic affair and serves the proposed interests of Muslim people. From this view, reform requires practical experience, to which the Islamic societies finding themselves since the 19th century encountering the Western historical experiences, which concluded with the separation of religion and state, still aspire.
والسبت الثاني من كل شهر يؤطرهم العلماء لمدة 3 ساعات للكلام عن الثوابت وما يتعلق.
And when we're talking about the ministers and regarding the Islamic affairs and serving the Muslims, it's not only about what is about the politics, but we should also work together, the politics with religion, to ensure the security and justice and also the good and interest of people. We need a practical experiment here in the Islamic communities that we have started in the 19th century, learning from the history of the West, with the different trials with the Islamic communities and societies, where we see that the Islam needs the amendment should be related to reality, an idea, an experiment that should be purified from the selfishness that is implemented in Morocco nowadays, without undergrading the obstacles and challenges, and also talking about the important values. The project should similarly aligning the affairs and the requirements of religion with all the aspects of life is crucial into and achievable in two directions: raising Muslims' awareness of the religion state separation and conceptualization by the Western world, and also second, investing in the values of religion across all aspects of public life. Ladies and gentlemen, this topic, the roles and responsibilities of the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, deserves to be the key theme of one of our coming seminars. And may Allah's peace and blessings be upon you all. Your Excellencies, our distinguished guests, the speech now is to His Excellency Dr. Osama Al-Azhari from the Arab Republic of Egypt. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and may Allah's praise and blessings be upon our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. First of all, Your Excellency, the Minister of Islamic Affairs and Da'wah and Guidance in Saudi Arabia, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, Your Excellencies, our distinguished guests. First, I would like to thank the Minister and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for their invitation and for their warm hosting and welcome. I would like, on the behalf of Egypt and its people, and from Al-Azhar, our respects to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the King and the nation, and to all your excellencies, and to all your countries. This conference that is held under the patronage of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, may Allah protect him, and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, may Allah protect him. The title of this conference was very important, about the role and responsibilities of the ministries of Islamic affairs regarding the moderation and reinforcing its values. I think that the title is very discusses all the different issues regarding moderation, and the case of confronting the extremism, terrorism, and also protecting the rostrums and protecting our ministries and our countries. We should all work together to confront all the means of extremism and terrorism, to stop the terrorism around the world, and to be in this era those who protect and save not only the countries, the religion, as where also in other incidents the extremism was confronted, and the lessons of history regarding that, to confront all these issues strongly and stand strongly to protect our communities. The conference also chose another topic, which is about the human values, the common human values for us as Muslims that we call and talk about around the world, as an evidence from the Holy Quran, having the different means and different pictures of righteousness, and that was translated into English and French orally and written form as well, addressing and speaking to every human being around the world, talking about the different worships and the different activities. And there were different verses in the Quran that starts with, "O you, the faithful." And the Imam al-Razi said that there was 88 different verses stated in the Quran regarding that. And every verse in the Quran started with, "O you humans," or "O you people," or "O you human beings." We've come out with different values, different that connect us all to what is good, to what is right. The common values is one of the most important goals of this conference that we talk about and we make sure to implement. One of the important topics about the conference is about the nationalism and being loyal to our nations. And it is very important in this era where the many groups of terrorists have come and were born. When they say that the country is a lot of these terrorist groups are going against the safety of countries and the unification of nations as well. We have confronted all these ideas and wrong ideologies. So the nationalism is an important aspect, and we've seen in history that we've seen Al-Jahid, for example, have written a book about that, about nationalism and the importance of being loyal to our countries. And also Imam al-Sam'ani and Abu Hatim as well, al-Sijistani, also published a book about that. And also Abu al-Hasan have published another book on the same topic. And also Abu al-Khayl have also published a book here in Saudi Arabia about the love of our country. So we are gathered in this conference to talk and speak in our communities about the importance of our countries and being loyal to our countries that protects our rights. This conference is about the roles of endowments in the Aqsa Mosque. The endowments is an important aspect of the Muslim history that have affected education, health, and a lot of activities have started with the endowments that talk about the history of humanity in general, whether it was a scientific work project or something that's related to health. Like, for example, the Mustawsiya school is one of the biggest, largest schools in the history of Islam. And it was built on several massive endowments. And there were very large universities that were built on endowments as well, like Harvard and others. Like the Mosque of Muhammad Bik Abu Dhahab in Cairo, for example. The endowments of the mosque is being spent on the knowledge and spreading knowledge. And the endowments was also very in big quantities that we were able also to feed the birds. The conference also discusses the topic of the new means of communication, especially in this modern era of social media, and where all the ideologies is very presented to everyone around the world, making it a dangerous platform that can play with the minds of the young generation. So there should be a guide for the Muslims around the world, where we present all the righteous pictures of Islam. The case of Palestine, for example, which is in the hearts of every Muslim, and we ask Allah that victory comes, and may Allah be with them and help them. And we all wait for the day where they get their right in Al-Quds and Al-Aqsa. In conclusion, from the Holy Mosque of Mecca, we all spread our word, working hand in hand, unified in our word, to present the guidance and the mercy, and also serving the Islam, and with all our countries and our nations, that prevent us from terrorism and everything that is violent, and also present the religion of Deen, the religion of Islam, that is about peace and love and unification. And as I started my speech, I would like to conclude with my warm welcome and greetings from the Republic of Egypt and the President Sisi and his brother, the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and Crown Prince, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and all our countries and all our nations. And I hope all the success for this conference, and may Allah protect our countries and our nations, and may Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Our honored guests, now the speech is to the Minister of Lands and Religious Affairs in the Republic of Gambia, Mr. Hamad Bah.
Great honor and pleasure that I stand before you today at the 9th Conference of Ministers of Endowment and Islamic Affairs and the 14th session of the Executive Council in the beautiful city of Mecca, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al-Sheikh, the Honorable Minister of Islamic Affairs, call and guardians of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for extending this invitation and hosting this esteemed gathering. This conference provides us with a unique opportunity to come together, share knowledge, and strengthen our cooperation in the fields of endowment, Islamic affairs, and religious governance. The government of the Gambia, through His Excellency President Adama Barrow, and through the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government, and Religious Affairs, is committed to promoting religious harmony, fostering sustainable development, and enhancing the well-being of our citizens. I believe that through dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect, we can overcome common challenges and build a better future of our nations. The themes and discussions of this conference are not merely academic. They have real-world implications for the lives of millions of people around the globe. By working together, sharing best practices, and embracing innovations, we can create more inclusive society, protect our cultural heritage, and promote peace and understanding among diverse communities. We must acknowledge, as ministers responsible of religious affairs in our various countries, that Islam as a religion is facing great challenges that need great measures, concerted effort to deal with those challenges in promoting and developing and advancing our religion, Islam, which is the greatest religion on earth. I look forward to engaging in fruitful conversation, forging new partnership, and learning from the experience of my esteemed colleagues gathered here today. Let us seize this opportunity to make a positive impact, inspire change, and contribute to the collective well-being of our societies. In closing, let us remember the words of wisdom. Unity is strength. Together, we can achieve great things and overcome any obstacle that stand in our way. Let us work hand in hand towards a brighter, more prosperous future for all. Thank you.
Oh, Your Excellencies, our respected honorable scholars and respected guests, now the speech for His Excellency the Minister of Endowments and Religious Affairs of Oman, Dr. Mohammed bin Saeed Al-Muhammad.
Praise be to Allah, and peace and blessings be upon the Messenger of Allah, his family, and companions. May peace and blessings and mercy of God be upon you. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, may the peace, blessings, and mercy of Allah be upon you. It is an honor for me, as we convene at this 9th General Conference of Ministers of Endowments in Islamic Affairs here in the sacred land of the two holy mosques in Mecca, to extend my sincere greetings and best wishes to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, may Allah preserve him, King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and His Royal Highness, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz. May Allah protect him. I'm also pleased to express my deep gratitude to my esteemed brother, His Excellency Sheikh Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, Minister of Islamic Affairs, Dawah and Guidance, and the Chairman of the Executive Councils of this conference, as well as to the organizers for their warm reception, generous hospitality, and exceptional efforts in convening this important conference. This gathering exemplifies the shared concerns of our governments and communities and underscores the value of humanity and the importance of striving for its present and future welfare. As well as I'd like to thank everyone and the greatest hospitality and Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. The world today faces significant challenges, including the disruption of moral values, imbalance of ethical standards, and scourge of conflicts, wars, and environmental disasters that have undermined development efforts and threatened social cohesion in many societies. Our communities, being an integral part of this global fabric, have not been immune to these challenges and their consequences. Repeatedly, we have found ourselves confronting divisive policies of polarization, and at other times facing the hatred and rhetoric that have falsely depicted our societies as burdens on civilization and modernity, relying on a distorted narrative of history, facts, and events. It is regrettable that the family, the fundamental building block of society, has become one of the primary targets of agendas seeking moral and ethical decay, driven by the vast technological openness aimed at undermining its role, disintegrating its bonds, and weakening the entire society. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, in light of these circumstances and challenges, our responsibility as leaders in an Islamic and religious affairs necessitates cooperation and intensified efforts to protect our communities and enhance their resilience in preserving their foundational values and ethics. This cooperation begins with our work toward renewing the understanding of religious discourse in alignment with current challenges, fostering a religious awareness characterized by moderation and balance. This can only be achieved by confronting the rhetoric of extremism, intolerance, and terrorism, which divides rather than unites, destroys rather than builds, and fosters conflict among Muslims, leading to failure, as Allah Almighty says, and do not dispute and thus lose courage, and then your strength would depart. This great religion cannot be viewed without recognizing the profound value it places on the entire human community, for humanity is the essence of this faith. And it is for humanity that this vast universe operates, as Allah Almighty says. The dignity of human beings in this religion is comprehensive and indivisible, extending beyond its spiritual concept to encompass the reality of human life and its details. Therefore, extremism in all its forms and violence in all its manifestations are clear deviations from the essence and objectives of this religion, and they cannot be justified under any circumstances. They represent a departure from the path of innate nature, mercy, and benevolence. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, respected guests, in affirmation of the Sultanate of Oman's mission to promote a culture of peace, harmony, and the reinforcement of moral principles and shared human values, the Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs launched the Human Convergence Project in 2019 under the slogan Towards Shared Human Values. The project is built on 3 pillars: intellect, justice, and morality. It proposes a framework of action that offers the world means to rise anew and envision a balanced life where people live with dignity, fundamental rights, and psychological security. The project is motivated by the global disturbances, including poverty issues, human rights concerns, victims of conflicts and wars, such as the unjust aggression on Al-Quds al-Sharif and the land of Palestine and its people, and the economic fallout from the fierce competition between capitalism, totalitarianism, and democracy, in addition to the disruption of moral and ethical values due to technological openness. These factors have led to deep reflections on the future of human relations in both the near and distant future. The project outlines 3 essential dimensions for restoring balance to the world we live in today. Number 1, improving human lives by achieving a basic level of dignity and rights and preserving human cohesion from extinction. Number two, adopting a global ethical system that propels people forward to unify their commitments and efforts toward protecting humanity and the earth, achieving peace, coexistence, and understanding, affirming that religious, cultural, and ideological differences do not prevent nor are they obstacles to our belief in common ground and shared values. Number 3, nurturing the spiritual values of humanity by awakening them through the application of reason, logic, philosophy, and theology. The project focuses on 3 key directives related to individual human behavior: promoting a culture of peace, understanding, and respect for life. Second, reassuring people by preserving their identities and private lives. And third, deepening the values of social partnership and societal values. The project's directives move away from classifications and natural differences among people, such as religion, language, culture, and identity, and concentrate on the sound human nature without considering any other aspect, to focus on human convergence and shared human values. The project does not aim to eliminate these differences or merge them into a single pattern, but seeks to achieve integration among them in the context of human diversity, aiming for balanced relationships based on mutual interests, respect, and appreciation for the values and principles that people hold dear. And in the context of Oman's effort, presented by the Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs to spread the principles of tolerance, coexistence, and understanding, and to combat stereotypes about Islam and Muslims, while contributing to the reduction of hate speech and Islamophobia, the ministry launched the Message of Islam from Oman. This project has worked to promote constructive dialogue among various religions and sects worldwide, focusing on Oman's experience in religious tolerance, mutual understanding, and peaceful coexistence. The project received wide international and UN acclaim upon its launch, and by the end of last year, 2023, the exhibition had held 140 international stations, during which various conferences, meetings, and community programs were organized, all contributing to human convergence, societal harmony, and the extension of peace and understanding. The success of human convergence and Message of Islam from Oman projects has demonstrated that constructive cooperation among peoples and cultures across various fields is possible despite different concepts and perspectives, even amid current challenges. Based on our experience in Oman, our efforts, and the relationships we have strengthened with the world over the past decades, the approach of Omani diplomacy and societal relations can be summarized in a trilogy of knowledge, recognition, and appreciation. Knowledge involves deepening our understanding of all aspects related to self-awareness and awareness of others, understanding the foundations upon which societies and sustainable relationships are built, a knowledge that dispels ignorance and builds relationships on the basis of clarity, respect, and mutual trust. However, knowledge alone is not enough. It must be coupled with recognition, which involves the positive interaction with knowledge, employing it in civilization and the human communication. Recognition negates the isolation and conflict and avoids the clashes associated with differences and disparities among nations, peoples, and individuals. Appreciation of others and their rights is a moral and human obligation imposed by human relationships that seek stability, development, security, and peace. In conclusion, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, the roles of our religious institutions are central and essential to our nations. They work on building a culture of societies based on harmony, security, and peace. Societies without the principles of understanding, coexistence, and shared human values cannot face challenges or provide practical solutions. As Allah Almighty says, they who believe and do not mix their belief with injustice, those will have security, and they are rightly guided. Societal and national stability begins with faith. Faith in one's role in this life, and the responsibilities therein. Among the most significant of these responsibilities is the responsibility for the nation and its security. Our religious institutions must awaken these values, as they are at the core of modern state institutions, achieving cooperation and integration with the rest of the state's institutions. We ask Allah Almighty to grant this gathering and this conference acceptance and success, to bless the efforts and endeavors with success and rectitude, to bestow upon our nations all security, harmony, and peace, along with an abundance of goodness, blessings, and prosperity. Indeed, He is the one capable of doing so. Thank you, and peace and blessings be upon you all.
Your Excellency, the President of the Conference, will start our first session about addressing the emergence of extremism, radicalism, and terrorism, and the importance of safeguarding the rostrums from the rhetoric. We'll invite Dr. Mohammed Sheiba, the Minister of Endowments, Guidance of the Republic of Yemen, and also the programs of communication of the scholars of Yemen.
Okay. Praise be to Allah, peace and blessing of Prophet, his king, companion, all. Is the moderator of the session, Sheikh Dr. Eid of Yemen, Muhammad of Yemen, chairman of the conference, Dr. Abdul Latif Al Sheikh, chairman of the conference, and Minister of Endowment and Awqaf, distinguished brothers, their excellencies, and eminences, distinguished brothers and sisters, and the members of this distinguished August conference. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. From Mecca, Holy Mecca, the Grand Sacred House of Allah, we are in the House of Allah, actually. And what's a blessing, what is honorable blessings that we meet at this best place, Mecca. land of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings upon him, the masters of all humankind, the first man to get out on the resurrections, and the first man to step on the paradise, and good our beloved prophets, and who is selected from among all people, Mecca, upon which the revelations was descended, Jibril, the prophet, with the most great and purified speed and the most guided. That's the Holy Quran. We are in the best place where we'll discuss matters that anticipated to benefit Muslims and Muslims in the framework of the patronage of Allah Almighty and the patronage of the custodian of Holy Mosque, King Salman Abdul Aziz, may Allah protect him, and his faithful Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. I would like to take some of your time so that the time is to be limited. This is the first session, gentlemen participants, in our ninth conference. It's titled, that is, confrontations of the latest development of excessiveness, and the significance of safeguarding platforms against its dangers. These sessions, three papers will be presented by the secretaries of Kuwait and Pakistan, 3 countries, will submit their papers. And the first speaker, and that is what is the first session, as I've already indicated, Dr. His Excellency Minister of Somalia, Federal Republic of Sheikh Mukhtar Ali Buali. He also will be followed by His Excellency the Minister of Awqaf and Affairs in Palestine, Muhammad Mustafa Najm. It will be followed by His Excellency the Minister of Islamic Affairs, Al-Ibad and Worships, Muhammad Umar Koni, and the Republic of Mali. And also the fourth speaker will be His Excellency, concluding, His Excellency the Chairman of the Sunni Board of Iraq, Dr. Mush'an bin Ma'ini Al-Khazraji. Let us start with the first speaker. The first participant, His Excellency Dr. the Federal Republic of Oman, Sheikh Mukhtar, is given the floor. And His Excellency Mukhtar, he is a Bachelor's from Islamic Sharia in Mogadishu, and he is a master's degree in comparative relations from the American University. He is also a politician and social activist, and a teacher and a director in many basic and secondary schools in capital Mogadishu. He is also worked at the Dawah as a preacher for more than 30 years. He is candidate for the Western province of Western Somalia in 2018. He is now the Minister of Islamic Affairs currently in the Federal Republic of Somalia from August in the year 2022. Now, Sheikh Mukhtar, you are given the floor. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Praise be to Allah, peace and blessings on our Prophet and his king, followers and companions all. Your Excellency Dr. Abdul Latif Ibn Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, Minister of Islamic Affairs and Guidance, and Your Excellencies, and the Minister of Islamic Affairs and the representatives of the Islamic bodies of the Muslim world, and distinguished honorable guests. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like at the beginning to thank the Kingdom, profoundly thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, represented in its Minister of Islamic Affairs and Dawah and Guidance, and the topmost of His Excellency, my brother, the Minister, Dr. Abdul Latif ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, for the according hostility and warm reception, and express our happiness in participation of this 9th conference. For the Minister of Islamic Affairs, Endowments, and Islamic of the Muslim world, Your Excellencies, it is quite clear to you that is extremism and excessiveness and immoderations, and what is the consequence for calling people infidels, and that making people blood, that is destroying their and wasting their capabilities, and intimidating those who are has no relation at all with Islam. Islam is the religion of peace and justice and tolerance. Many Islamic states have suffered a lot. According to Somalia, my own country, Somalia, ways of what of the phenomena of extremism, excessiveness, and moderations, a lot for a long time, and it is still, and the last barbaric attack that took place have been implemented by the elements of extremism and immoderation in the capital city of Mogadishu on the night of Saturday, 2nd of August. Your Excellency, Your Eminences, that is the effective solutions for the latest developments of excessiveness and immoderation can be summarized in the following points. First of all, that is, all efforts must be mustered by all ministers of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs and the concerned department to develop a comprehensive strategy for confronting excessive terrorism and immigration, and to apply them on all countries or Muslim countries. Secondly, to unify the efforts of Muslim scholars and the preachers and encourage them to perform their respective roles, and to warn people about the danger, that the deviated thought which adopt the manhaj of Khawarij, that have been described by the Holy Prophet as that is the worst people in this context. We are in the Ministry of Islamic Affairs and the Federal Republic of Somalia, the second conference for the Somali scholars in the Federal between 29 Yuli till the 1st of August from this year. And there's the patronage of the President, Dr. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, may Allah protect him. This more than 300 scholars, male and female scholars, have participated from inside and outside the country, because the European countries, American, and European. This encompasses there's a lot of important issues, including, of course, the current efforts in the country for uprooting the movements of the Daesh movement. Thirdly, to work together to drying up of the financial sources of through coordination, cooperations with financial institutions, for the banks, in transferring some funds. In this respect, the government of the Federal Republic of Government has lately to face many balances of those supporting such groups. Also, many accounts has been closed, possessed, for those being covered by the blacklist of the mission. This steps in weakening their financial ability for the terrorist. Fourthly, to intensify the supervisions of the schools and Islamic and schools and the Islamic institutions and the various in order to protect the young generation from the deviated sorts and to be affected by the leading of the misleading. To achieve such task assignment, the Minister of Islamic Affairs in the Federal Republic of Somalia to launch a project that funds targeting a total survey for those Quranic schools and most of the capital city in order to create a database that can be implement the proper supervisions and surveillance. Fourthly, to follow publishing voters in order to prevent publishing book that pamphlet that that promote excessiveness and immoderations and extremism. Such books, they also disunite people and give no. Sixthly, to develop an mechanism for supervising social media in order for misleading the young generations and to bring them for such method. The Islamic government has closed more than 300 accounts have been used by the terrorists for disseminating their propaganda, and which is cause of violence and terrorism. Seventh, to develop an educational curricula that follow that constitute to disseminate the messages of Al-Sunnah Jama'ah, that is moderation, and to urge them their teaching. Eighth, to enhance the principles of obeying the ruler, to enhance the concept of obeying the leader of the country, and to inculcate it in the minds of, especially in the young people, because it is a founding principles from the unity of the Muslim Ummah and its coherence. Also it is a belief, actually. Allah says, those who believe, obey your governor, and if anything dispute among them, then take it back to the Holy Quran and Sunnah. If you really believe in Allah and the last day, it is better for you. Allah says, Muslims should obey his leader in what Allah. Unless he is asked to do something that is contradictory to Islam, then he can disobey the leader. This is a text because quite clear, and it is mandatory upon you to obey the leader, since he is not doing all right. The cooperation between the government and the scholars for fighting these seconds to resort to the Holy Quran and Sunnah, and to apply it is Islamic Sharia in order to prevent such suspicions that they spread or disseminate in order to result to man-made laws. 11th, to reject, to enhance and counseling experiment to be implemented. In conclusion, I have nothing but to thank the Holy Mosque, Qasem Aziz, and his Crown Prince Hamad Msatin for what they are doing and they did for the serving the Ummah, and for the two Holy Mosques in particular. I would like to thank my brother, Dr. His Excellency Abdul Aziz Ibn Abdul Latif Ibn Abdul Aziz, Minister of Islamic Security, Almighty Allah, to protect the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and to make it safe, remaining in tranquility and stability. Thank you very much.
Okay. ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا معاليك.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now the floor is for my brother, the Minister of Awqaf and Religious Affairs in the State of Palestine. And before I give him the floor, I do hope that we can be conscious of time, and it's 8 minutes for each speaker in order to have a kind of discipline. Dr. Muhammad Mustafa Najim was born in Gaza, in the city of Gaza. We pray to Allah to provide relief to our people in Gaza. And he graduated from the Faculty of Dawah from the Islamic University of Al-Madinah, and he has a PhD from Al-Azhar, and he worked as an imam and university professor for 40 years, and he worked also as the Deputy Mufti of Al-Quds and Palestine. So His Excellency will deliver his remarks. Praise to Allah. who inaugurated his book and said praise to Allah. And he also said praise to Allah, the creator of the earth and the heavens, and created the light and the darkness. And he also concluded with praise, and he said, and it was decided between them with the right, and praise to Allah. Peace and prayers be on the Imam of the believers, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace and prayers be upon him, and his companions and followers. Peace be upon you. Your Excellency, the Minister of Endowments, Dawah and Religious Guidance of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency, Sheikh Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, Your Excellencies, the Ministers, the Honorable Ministers, dear distinguished audience, peace be upon you. We thank Allah first of all, and we extend our thanks and gratitude to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz, and we extend our gratitude and thanks to the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and we extend our thanks as well to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the good reception and hospitality, and may Allah bless them all. And without any further ado, what I wanted to say in a nutshell, I summarize it in the form of points. First of all, the countries that have a role in addressing extremism and radicalism, we need to benefit from their experiences. And the security organizations in our respective countries, they need to assume their role in suppressing terrorism, extremism, and radicalism. And this can happen through monitoring the educational facilities in any country, in particular mosques, with the different sections of mosques, the sections of men and women, because the women's section is as important as the men's section. We need also to work to secure mosques and to protect them, because mosques are the safety valves for any society. And we need to work on activating the principle of al-wala and al-bara, because there are concepts in our nation that have been disregarded, and even the educational facilities in our Oman, our nation, are dominated by the mobilization and not the upbringing or the education. So it's about mobilization of people, especially in mosques. And therefore, from here, we find that the education based on a Salaf al-Salih doctrine, sometimes the right words are used, but their meanings are misleading, or the intent is different. And Prophet Muhammad, there are different messengers who are emphasizing on the values and the principles and the Sharia of this religion. The current educational system or the learning system is about the bid'ah, and they understood that the bid'ah is just about what is additional to the religion, but there are some more serious issues. It's about not lacking the complete education and upbringing about the religion. And we want the Sharia to be applied in terms of the hudud, qisas, and the felonies or the crimes as they are applied in the worships and in the transactions, muamalat. And therefore, we have to suppress financing or to curb financing to the radicals and the extremists who do not belong to a nation and they do not belong to a religion, because they do not understand the intents of the Sharia, on top of which protecting the five essential elements, the preservation of religion, mind, progeny, as well as money and the soul. And as a result of this extremism, we see terrorism in different countries. And therefore, it's about being moderate in hood. There is a verse in the Quran that is directed to the Prophet Muhammad, and you have to be on the right path, you and those around you, as Allah is witnessing what you are doing. We need to also understand the verse from Nisa chapter number 59 and in Al-Ma'idah, the three verses, and those who do not rule by what's coming from God are the unjust people. And we need also to understand the intents of the Sharia as brought by Muhammad. This is the moderate doctrine that we need to apply in practice, and it's not mere words. May Allah bless you, and I wish you all success in this conference. Thank you. I'd like to thank you, Your Excellency, the Minister. And now the floor is for Dr. Muhammad Omar Koni, who is the Minister of Religious Affairs in the Republic of Mali. And Dr. Muhammad Omar is a lawyer, and he is also a scholar in the Islamic Sharia. He is a translator and a philosopher, and he obtained the black belt in the karate. So, and he's also an expert in the legal and the religious issues, and he spent more than 20 years in teaching and in the public service. And he speaks different languages: Arabic, French, English, and others. And he worked in the Hajj missions and in the Dawah, and he is an international advisor or consultant in the religious and Dawah affairs. Please, you have the floor. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, who said, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ, and who said, ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. And peace and prayers be on Prophet Muhammad, the messenger of enlightenment, and is reading a poem. He's reading a poem saying that the poor people will always select Islam, the religion of Muhammad. And Prophet Muhammad also said, you need to say the right things, otherwise you need to be silent. So this religion is an easy religion, but it could be difficult as well. And therefore, we need not to take it lightly, and it can be understood by the common people without the need for some specialized people. Your Excellency, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, the chairperson of the conference, Your Excellencies, the ministers, Your Eminence, Your Highnesses, it is my honor in this place to respond to this kind invitation under the gracious patronage of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and his Crown Prince, as organized by the Ministry of Religious Affairs, Dawah and Guidance, the 9th Conference of the Ministers of Awqaf and Endowments in the Muslim world, under the chairmanship of Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdulaziz Al Sheikh. So, representing my President, Colonel Hassan Bota, I would like to convey to you the compliments of the President, and I'm very delighted to attend this meeting. And this meeting, I'm confident it will be very fruitful and informative. And because of the importance of this topic that we are addressing today, addressing the emergence of extremism, radicalism, and terrorism, and the importance of safeguarding the platforms, I say that the Muslim nation badly needs this to address extremism and radicalism because it has emerged in our time, and it is taking different forms and facets that is very frustrating for the Muslims who understand the truth about their religion and who understand what this religion is about. These radicals and extremists, they believe that they are sticking to the religion, but they are not, and they are blaming others for being lenient with the religion. And they are causing division in this Muslim nation, and they are repelling other people from entering into this religion. Your Excellencies, your scholars, the extremism and radicalism is making people escape from this religion. Prophet Muhammad said, those who are very observant about the religion are doomed, and he said that you need to go easy on people. The spread of extremism and radicalism tells us about a crisis in our societies because extremism is about intolerance, and it's about radicalization. It's about the political violence and it is growing. Extremism and radicalism is growing with the renewal of the thinking and the lifestyle of the societies. And therefore, the religious institutions that have been established to protect the religion, they need to be in the forefront to spread education, awareness, and to intensify the da'wah and the call for the people using different means. And here, countries are different in terms of how they combat what is prejudicial to Islam through the Muslims themselves and through the enemies from outside the Muslim countries. We have Muslim nations and we have secular nations that respect the freedom of religion, such as Mali, which is predominantly a Muslim nation, and therefore it is difficult to take decisions that apply to the Muslims only by the government because we have different religions, and therefore some of the rights are wasted in order to protect other rights. But the Muslim institutions, such as the Supreme Islamic Council in Mali, are always cognizant and are alert about the updates or the new things related to Islam, and they report to the government through the Ministry of Religious Affairs. So the ministry would refer any matter to the Ministry of Justice because sometimes it is a judicial issue, and sometimes to the Ministry of Internal Security if it is a security threat, and then to the higher authorities. So the directives of the Ministry of Religious Affairs apply to certain aspects, and in countries where we have secular states and where the constitutions are secular, we say that this is the Ministry of Religious Affairs because it incorporates non-Muslims as well. And from here, I invite Saudi Arabia in particular and the Muslim states to coordinate with the Islamic institutions in order to be effective in spreading moderation and to renounce extremism and violence because this is destructive to our societies. We need to work sincerely and hard in order to provide solutions for different issues. And here we need to establish a platform for the ministers of religious affairs to monitor what is happening, and in order to safeguard the discourse and the platforms is very critical, and we need to have the trained and the qualified people assuming the platforms and delivering speeches, and therefore we need to prevent the spread of misleading ideas. We call for moderation, and here we are at the same time calling for the adherence to the Islamic principles because he's reading a poem. It's about the art of talking to the people that should be done by those who are cognizant and those who are well educated. Thank you, Your Excellency. And now we'll have His Excellency Dr. Mish'an Mahi Alwan Al-Khazraji from the Republic of Iraq. And His Excellency was the Secretary for the Minister of Endowments and Religious Affairs, and then the manager of the office of the Minister. And he started teaching in 1997, and he's the Assistant Dean for Scientific Affairs in 97, and he was the Director General of the Religious Institutions Department and head of the Scientific Council 2001-2003, and member of the Opinion Council in the Ministry of Endowment and advisor to the Sunni Endowment Office from 2003 until 2009, and he was the Dean of the Faculty of the Imam, and he is now the Chairman of the Sunni Endowment Office. You have the floor.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellency Sheikh Dr. Abdul Latif Al-Sheikh, Chairman of the Conference, Excellencies, distinguished guests, and honorable scholars. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Praise be to Allah. I witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah. May Allah peace and blessing be upon him. After all, or you, I would like to, you scholars, I would like to address you in the best compliments. I would like to extend my profound gratitude to those who invited us. I would like appreciating this is the fairest land of Allah, the cradle of Islam and the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Seek Almighty Allah to grant you continuous success in your deliberations, and that all will be a fruitful results or composition for taking into account your opinions, and that is right, or the truth is quite clear, and right is also the truth is known by those who are sagacious. We have been afflicted by the currents and parties and movements and groups that take part of the religions. Only the artificial part of it, that there is an excessiveness and negligence from other parties. Thereby, they lost the comprehensive view, and they totally block out from the overall picture, and they never ensured that is what is the roots, follow out the rule and proof. They look at what is relating to the details, and what is totally proved, and what is something suspicious or something that cannot be proved according to the Sharia principles. They even I mean bother themselves to follow up things to make sure that whether to ask the scholars, erudite scholars, and to know what is the different pieces and what is metaphor and what is special, so what is general, and what is the relations, what is criticism, what is personal judgment, and what we do not find, and what has been eluded out of them. So that education is based upon just inculcating, and they lost the ability of thinking and how to expurgate and to develop them according to the development of young people. That is also be just imitating. I think that is extractive would lead to these people to the creativity and take him to reach the truth. Such absence of the principles of Islam created, a generation that is extremist and attacked scholars and never give respect to any veneration. So people also deserve such venerations and forget anything that is opposing them. And so that is partial principle. That don't do salat without, if you are not, and they have violated people sanctities, and they just speak feature that has no valueless, and acted against the religions and what are the duties, and what are those all the religions of the religions containing that they are monk of these religions. With such they take the majority of people as infidels and calling them, misleading them without principles or basic distinguished brothers and sisters. That is excessiveness of religions is something, is a danger, malad. And the Holy Prophet has warned us against it. And that those who believe don't practice excessiveness in religions or in moderations. That is, in moderations in religions is a result of misunderstandings, and that is just some people conceited on the baptism. They are far away from religion, as any text can prove that they are contradicted. What is the Holy Quran indicates, and what is uploaded, the moderation of this nation. Allah says that we have mentioned at the moderate nation that should be a witness to all people, and that is the Holy Prophet will be a witness to you. And the Prophet says that, I think that Allah that is mentioned in order to describe them as the moderate they are moderate in the religions. They are not excessive, and they are not negligent in it, that have been done by the Christians who worship in this about Christ as they did. They are not shortish in the Jews who neglected the Jews who changed the Arab and killed their prophets and lied to Allah. And they disbelieve in Allah, but they are moderation as Muslims. That Allah described them in this matter. Therefore, this is one of the best things in Allah, that is to be the middle path. Distinguished brothers, that is the addressings of as well, that is to confirm the moderations of this ummah and to concentrate teaching the young generations at different times of Islam, and to follow those who follow up for the dawah people, and to control televisions and social media, and to give propagation to their respective programs and other means for their other addressing masal, which may be different relatively from one country to another. I would like to renew my thanks to the congregation and leadership, peoples and scholars for their keenness in addressing such ummah, because especially may Allah grant them, may Allah thank them. Thank you for the distinguished. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Distinguished brothers, at the conclusion of this session, there is no message of religions or legislation that food and this got despicable, that is denounced and denied extremisms and terrorism like this great religion of Islam. if such religion Islam, great teaching Islam, let us give consideration, that is the sanctity, that is the feeling of a cat, and the life is a cat, female cat, for preserve the right of the lives, of the feelings and feeling of a human being. Such, as I said, that's Islamic religion, that is Islam, grant forgiveness and paradise and repentance to a woman, female, was that he was kind to a talk, and he gave a gratitude to himself. How and elevate the elevators of a man who, of such a prostitute, had been given forgiveness. Then he at least give the man for to make such corruption. Our religion is great and sublime and beautiful and great. Even if you making jokes for your colleagues or your friends, it is not also should not to exceed that in making to terrify him. Should not terrify him. Reported that one of the prophets took his shoes in case of joking and hid it. And the they started to say out for it. Then who took it? Holy Prophet was angry with him. How you terrify you Muslim brother? That I'm just playing with him or just joking. Holy Prophet, it is not acceptable. Even in the joking, you are not trying to terrify or to. Even in joking, you are there's something respect bounds you should not respect. Like take for the ant, which is even of the Holy Prophet for and not to kill an ant and to preserve it to his life. And after one of the prophets, and they call it, Allah says you killed only a single ant. Why? Why should be aggression? Even if you are check what Allah make it permissible from the Holy Prophet, you are supposed it is permissible, and to take it as meat, you are supposed you should hide from it the knife. You should not terrify it. You should not intimidate it, and to make it to sharp it so that you can slaughter it as quickly as possible. Islam says beautiful green. Our religion is good. It is beautiful. Islam despise terrorism and condemns and denounces the terrorism was from a religion or a school. What is taking place in Palestine and Gaza from destruction, killing, bombardment, killing of children, elderly, all of us, we condemn such matter. Groups, crimes that exercises would like to attach it to Islam. We condemn it, we denounce it, and we fight all such extreme whenever it takes place. Our religion is good, our religion is great, and we take pride in it. We are voice about it. We don't want to prolong the times is session. Thank you very much, Allah Almighty. Thanks also His Excellency Minister of Health, Chairman of this conference, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom people. Thank you very much. Thank you to thank you, His Excellency Chairman of the Chairman. Now the second session starts. The common Islamic values of cooperation, tolerance, and before the beginning, like the Excellency, that is, the lunch will after this second session immediately. The chairman will be chaired by His Excellency, the moderator, Minister of Islamic Affairs, Islamic Officer of Jobati, Mumin Hassan Barri, who had baccalaureate from Islam Muhammad Saudi University of Riyadh, and also a master of media. Also, that is a word of discussion from media from the Arab.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة. In the name of Allah, praise to Allah, and peace and prayers be on Prophet Muhammad. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to my brother, His Excellency, the Minister of Religious Affairs, Dawah and Guidance, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, for this kind invitation
and for the efforts he exerted in organizing this important conference. This conference is a culmination of a series of kind initiatives launched by Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I'd like to praise this very kind initiative that reflects the keenness of Saudi Arabia to foster and to enhance the relations between Muslim nations, Muslim countries, and to spread the values of moderation, tolerance, peace, and coexistence. And I take pride of chairing this second session of this conference. We are discussing the values of coexistence and tolerance and combating Islamophobia. And this is a critical topic, and it saddens me to say that like my brother from Yemen, I will not be presenting the bios of the speakers, but I'm confident that you know them all, and I will not take much of your time. So I'll go directly to the panelists, to the speakers. And in the discussions in the session, we will have His Excellency the Chairman of the General Authority of Islamic Affairs and Endowments and Zakat in the United Arab Emirates, Dr. Omar Habtour al-Dir'i. And we have His Excellency the President of the Religious Affairs of Turkey, Dr. Ali Erbash, and the Chairman of the General Authority of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs in Libya, Sheikh Mohammed Ahmed Hamid, and the Vice Minister of Social Affairs in Sierra Leone, Dr. Muhammad Haji, and His Excellency the Minister of Religious Affairs in Indonesia, His Excellency Saifur Rahman Dasuki. I hope that I pronounced your name correctly, and I apologize for any mispronunciation. And here in the session, we have two papers presented by Dr. Suleiman Al-Batili on the shared human values, the values of coexistence and tolerance, and the second about the vision on how to address Islamophobia. And we start with the first speaker, His Excellency the Chairman of the General Authority of Islamic Affairs, Endowments and Zakat in the UAE, Dr. Omar Habtour al-Dir'i. Please, you have the floor. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, praise to Allah and peace and prayers be on Prophet Muhammad, our Master Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, who said, and I was sent to the right religion. Peace and prayers be on him, his companions and followers. Your Excellency, Dr. Abdul Latif Ali Sheikh, the chairperson of the conference, Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, peace be upon you. At the outset, I convey to you the greetings of my country, the United Arab Emirates, and I'd like to express my appreciation to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the King, the Crown Prince, the government and the people of Saudi Arabia for organizing this conference that we organize every year in this place. Attending this conference is an honor of mine, and we always meet the invitation to come to Mecca. And I'd like to express my thanks to His Excellency the Minister and the organizers of the conference for the very good organization, and I congratulate them for this conference, and I express my appreciation to all the participants who are enriching the scientific sessions with their enlightened ideas. Your blessed gathering, the role of Awqaf and Religious Affairs ministries and their role in promoting the values of coexistence and tolerance is pivotal and critical. And it is because of the centrality of this religion in spreading tolerance. And if the other fields, the educational, the cultural, and the social aspects are supporting these values, the role of the religion is central and is critical. And in the context of the two papers, that are defining the elements of the session, which were prepared by the committee of the conference. I decided that my intervention will be about practicing tolerance and its applications, because as they say, practice is stronger than the dawah or the call. And we have our experience of the Ministry of the Islamic Affairs and Endowments in Emirates, which is a pioneer experience in promoting tolerance. And my intervention will be about 4 elements: the definitions, the limitations, the enablers, and the indicators. As for the definitions, it's about presenting this value based on the knowledge and the science in order to make it visible and widespread. We all recognize that the Quran is the best book to establish for the values of tolerance and coexistence, and the Prophet is about embodying these values, and our Muslim and Arabic history is about that. This is the intent of the religion as defined by some scholars. Ata'at are limited to 2 things: praising Allah and being merciful with the people. And we have tolerance in our religion, and we have abundance of materials about that, but the practice of that is very weak, and the radical religious groups are tainting these values and principles, and therefore the role of the religious institutions is to make the right scientific interventions in order to convince the people, and not to be passionate about things, to be rational. And the knowledge structure of tolerance can be completed by focusing on the archive, and to purify it and to sanitize it from any impurities, because this topic is critical. And first of all, we need to rectify the concepts that have been bobby-trapped by the radicals. Some think that tolerance is about wasting the religion, and this is not right. We have to address that, and therefore we have to establish this value, and therefore the mental soundness is critical, and it is a standard or a criterion for accepting the people working with our general authority. And this is enabled with the digitalization of this era, as different ideas are shared in the cyberspace, and the misleading religious discourse is making people sled, and the enablers come in an advanced stage based on a solid ground of tolerance. It's about strengthening tolerance and to make its roots very deep, because the behavior and the values change with the change of ideas, and these ideas should be based on sound foundations. We cannot establish the values of tolerance or the foundations of tolerance on unstable land or ground, and therefore we have to legislate for that. And for that, UAE dedicated 1 full year, which was called the Year of Tolerance. And during that year, we have accomplished many initiatives, and some of them are related to the Islamic discourse. For example, the criteria for being an imam in the UAE require that you sign this document of tolerance to renounce extremism and to prevent any blasphemy or libel, and to criminalize the discrimination between people and groups or religious or racial or sectarian basis in order to have tolerance as a societal culture that people should be adhered to, and that is protected by laws and legislations. Dear brothers and sisters, the indicators are protecting this structure. It's about alertness and being vigilant and to understand the risks associated with the coexistence. And this happens through the very specific monitoring and to observe any practices that are violating these principles and to address them using religion. So we need to be preemptive. We need to rely on the indicators in order to establish the values of tolerance in our societies and to make people adhere to their national identity. And in conclusion, I want to send the following messages. Number one, tolerance is a good thing for people and it requires the cooperation of all the religions and the cultures and the national state is a pillar for this tolerance. The radicals depict that the brotherhood of religion and the brotherhood of humanity are contradicting each other. This is not true. Our duty is to combat the discourse of intolerance. We need to improve our religious discourse and to maintain the national identity. This should be our project in order to have nations and countries that have coexistence and peaceful coexistence and tolerance, where people cooperate in order to achieve the prosperity of their respective countries. Is reading verses from the Holy Quran. لإلاف قريش إلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. May Allah bless you and protect this country, the city, and peace be upon you.
نشكر الدكتور عمر حبتور
الدرعي. He is hold a doctorate in Islamic Fiqh of the Contemporary. He is the chairman of the Islamic Affairs of the CAT. In addition, he is the chairman of IFTA Council Islamic Futa. He is the Director General of since 2000. Now the floor is given to Dr. Ali Abbas, Chairman of Islamic Affairs in Turkey. The Abbas was born 1961. He is a PhD holder in Ilahiyat from the history of his religion. He has a lot of books and his studies and a number of articles and abstracts and lectures he delivered at different symposia inside and outside Turkey. Dr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Praise be to Allah. Peace and blessings of the Lord, the most order of prophets, or Master Muhammad, his king form and companion all. Your Excellency, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, Minister of Islamic Affairs, Dawah and Guidance in the country of Saudi Arabia. Your Excellencies, Your Eminences, I salute you all at the beginning of this speech with due respect and veneration. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. At the beginning, at the outset, I would like to extend my profound gratitude and appreciation to His Excellent Dr. Abdul Latif ibn Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh for his kind invitation for organizing this August conference, August and significant conference. I would like also to express my great appreciation for my presence among you at this honored city and purified system and Bazar Lakat, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I would like also to express my special gratitude to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman Abdul Aziz Al Saud and His Royal Highness Crown Prince Muhammad bin Salman for patronizing this objective meeting. I hope that this conference of ours reasons for development of peace, development on ground, the earth, and to enhance international world peace. Distinguished brother and sister, the main objective and the main need for man is to live his life in peace, security, and dignity. That is, peace, security are the base requirement of humanity, because the individual who does satisfy his needs from security will be surrounded by fears, anxiety, and tension. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent, since the creation of man, that is, messengers, prophets, and books that guide man to search out his security and to guide him to guidance. That is the main task of prophets, and is to introduce people to the principles of eternal happiness in this world and the hereafter. That is, guiding them to the truth so that they can achieve monotheism, justice, and good manners. That is, all prophets have indicated the basics, means that is, make man tranquility, and the society that is enjoying security, tranquility, and the safe world, and far from chaos. And they fought for re-establishing peace and security through calling people to charity, benevolence, and brotherhood. The main objective of Islam is to secure security and peace on earth. Therefore, Allah to practice justice, equity, and to preserve rights, basic freedoms, because they are considered the great guarantee for peace, security in the world. And set out rules that protect them. Allah, the Quran, our Prophet, peace be upon him, that the firm Muslim he is, who people are safe from his insultant and his hands. That is, the Muslims who are secured for them, trusted for their correct money. And this criteria is the constitution of life that defends the right of every individual in the world. That is, to live in dignity, freedoms, and humanity. Distinguished brothers and sisters, today we witness ignorance of religions and Islamic values and the morals and justice laws, and their ignorance, the total ignoring the word, and now is misled in cycles of depressions, oppressions, and cheatings after he forget about monasticism and good manners. As a result, or consequently, for ignoring such sublime values, which has the life of man, that is the dangers that such as selfishness and unity and hatred and violence, terrorisms and occupations and world wars. That is the need of man and the humanity to the real facts of man and the guidance of the Holy Prophet, more and more crucial than any time before. Therefore, it must be known to all that no one is felt in this world in which he is of his basic rights, deprived of his basic rights, such as the part of religion, intellect, wealth, and progeny, and intellect. No one is separate without this objective religions. No one when the strong oppresses the weak. That is racism and cultural and ethical incident to a political style. No one is be safe unless the humanity is able to build ethics of common living, which respects differences among people. It is worth to mention that this to indicate that the history of Muslims, that is a clear history of Muslims in coexistence, when because they give much attention to establish the principles of mercy and justice, that are tranquility and self dominated during their rule, and presented good examples of common living. That is, distinguished participant. Today we see that, regrettably, that this appearance of hatred and aggressions and attacks that is methodological and particularly calculated against Islam, some Muslim, in certain countries. In such countries, that Islamic values are humiliated and their beliefs are being ridiculed, and sometimes Muslims are exposed to actual violences. No doubt this attitude, that is aggressive attitude, ignores the ethical values, that is the legal ethical values and human values as well. And that is establishes stability in the whole world the whole world. That is the most important duty in that which is on us regarding the hatred, the Islamophobia, is to fight all the international projects that is which targeting Islamic facts and work towards that is to foster Islamic justice concept and the seer of the Holy Prophet with immaculate sin of Prophet throughout centuries, and his good manners to every man in a good manner and lenient and wise one. Such meeting and thought, I would like to conclude my speech as pray to Almighty Allah to make the whole world more security and safe for the people, for the whole people. The topmost of our Muslim brothers, Palestinian people who are now currently exposing to injustice, oppressions, and genocide in their own country. Or they also pray to Almighty Allah to help Muslims to unify their forces to stop Zionists, occupy Zionists from killing the Palestinian children and innocent in Gaza, and to bless the efforts of Muslims to contribute and work towards establishing Islamic independent Palestinian state with its capital in Eastern Quds. I would like to thank all participants. I salute you once again with the greeting of Islam in my with due respect. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Learbash, for these very valuable remarks. And now I move the floor to Mr. Muhammad Ahmed Madi from Libya, and he has a license in law, and he has a certificate of strategic planning from the Academy of the Ambassadors of Development from the United Kingdom in London, and he is currently the chairman of the General Authority of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs. Please, you have the floor. Praise to Allah who made
moderation as a feature of this nation, and it is a grant, divine grant to us, to the nation of Muhammad, to the doomsday. And he is praising those who go to the extreme in their religion. I testify, or I bear witness, that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Peace be upon you. Your Excellency Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, the Minister of Religious Affairs, Dawah and Guidance, Your Excellencies, Your Eminences, Your Highnesses, distinguished audience. First of all, I greet you in Balad al-Haram and in this holy month, and after praising Allah, I would like to praise and thank the Ministry of Religious Affairs in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for their kind invitation and for organizing this blessed conference in this land of the two holy mosques. And I'd like to extend my thanks to the custodian of the two holy mosques and his crown prince for their kind patronage and for hosting this conference. And this is not something strange for this country, its leadership, government and people to attend to the issues of the Muslim nation and to bring the experts from different parts of the world in order to push the wheel of cooperation for the good of humanity. And it's doubtless that establishing moderation and tolerance is a requirement that is based on what Allah said, and we made you a central or moderate nation. And this requirement is renewed with the passage of time, and sometimes in different times we have people who mislead others, and therefore we need tolerance and coexistence. I have seen the papers of this session, and I'd like to thank the first paper, the scientific paper of Al-Bahili, which is a very valuable paper, and his pen actually travels in the history, the glorious history of this nation. In this history, we have eliminated the word hatred from the glossary of Muslims, and that paper is very valuable in providing insights about that. And I would like to add and say that the lack of seriousness from the side of the Western nations to prevent hatred against Muslims was damaging to them first before it damages other communities and societies, because hatred leads to divisions, to violence and to blood, and this is the pathway for the collapse of any society and for its protracted crises. And we see in the Western elections today they are promoting hatred, and this foretells that we will have radical people in power in these countries. We all understand that there is debate about the word hatred, and in the Quran, hatred is used to describe everything that should be repelled, renounced, and disparaged. Allah said, for example, لَا تَرِثُ النِّسَاءَ كَرْهًا, and He also said, أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. It's about hating the thing. And He also said, لَا إِكْرَاهَ فِي الدِّينِ, and He said, لَأَكْثَرُهُمْ لِلْحَقِّ كَارِهُونَ. And the meaning of the hatred in all these contexts is about something that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable in the views of the international humanitarian law, but we see duplicity and double standards at the global level, and we see this in different events and contexts. The situation in Gaza today and Boma yesterday is a synonym of that, and is telling us about this. And our reality today requires that we work at different levels, the diplomacy, the economy, the politics, and the level of da'wah, in order to reduce hatred and Islamophobia. that is very prejudicial to the Muslims in the Western nations. And on the second paper, I would like to second what is stated in it, and I just want to add that the issue of coexistence, tolerance, moderation, and hatred are all issues that are very critical and important, and therefore the more tolerance and moderation is spread, the more coexistence we have. But if we use tolerance excessively for the purpose of coexistence without taking into account moderation, we are losing stability. This is regarding the two papers individually. And if I may talk about the common elements between the two papers, I may say that I reiterate on the contents of these two papers, and I say that any imbalance in these three issues will create different crises at the level of the societies, and this includes the spread of hatred and hate speech. And if this hate speech is promoted for political or sectarian or other reasons, then the pillars of the system of values in the society would collapse and the society is doomed. And Prophet Muhammad, he came with a religion that is filling all the gaps and that is preventing these evils from spreading. So it's about fairness, inclusiveness, and it's about calling the people to the right path, and this is the exit for us, and this is a principle of our religion to establish tolerance, moderation, and to prevent the hate speech. So Islam came to take people from the darkness to the light, and to take them from animosity to harmony, and to coexistence. But this is pending to not preventing the da'wah and not shedding the blood of Muslims as what is happening in Gaza today and as what is happening by some terrorist groups. Prophet Muhammad was an example of moderation and coexistence away from hatred. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was very moderate in addressing issues. So he started his da'wah with wisdom and calling the people to the right things. And he only fought when they have betrayed him, as the case was with the Jews in Al-Madinah and Khaybar. And Prophet Muhammad coexisted with different tribes of people, and that was based on his mercy, but it was also based on empowerment and enablement, and he was not submissive to them or coward, and therefore he taught his nation to be moderate and to be of resolve sometimes, and to be fair when we address the issue of rights in any society. And therefore we are a nation that should adhere to Islam, and this is our strength, and we believe in monotheism of God, and we are empowered by God, and it's about credibility and faithfulness and mercy, and to be the central nation between all nations, and we will be empowered by victory, the victory that comes from God. The reality of our nation today is not very far from its reality yesterday. The events are being repeated. We have witnessed this before. And therefore, this nation extends its good hands to others, and this nation requires tolerance and moderation, and it requires people to renounce hatred. And this nation and its leaders, they have a history, and this history goes up and down based on the intents of the Sharia, and based on what is required, the interpretation of that should be assigned to the scholars and the rulers. I'd like to thank you for your attention, and peace and prayers be on Prophet Muhammad, his companions and followers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, for Excellency. Dr. Muhammad Al-Abbani. Now, then we give the microphone to for Rahmat, Deputy of Islamic of Indonesia. He is holder of bachelor's National University National. What was being, I think, of social affairs and political affairs. He is a master from University Stars. I think it's an Indonesian language, okay? From Faculty of Social Science and Political Science. He's a master also in governance. Now, Dr. Muhammad Haji, you are given the floor. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Bismillah. After all,
by all religions and cultures. Islam as a religion of rahmatan lil alamin strongly emphasizes the importance of human values such as human dignity, justice, solidarity, and respect for life. And in the history of Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam set a great example in implementing these values. One example is the Medina Charter. This charter not only regulates relations between Muslims, but also with other communities in Medina. It emphasizes the principles of justice and respect for the rights of every individual, regardless of religious differences. In Indonesia, the application of shared human values is also very clear. As the country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia has managed to maintain its remarkable cultural diversity. There are 1,340 ethnic groups in Indonesia, as well as 6 major religions and hundreds of local religions of beliefs, all living together in peace and tolerance. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, tolerance is the ability to accept and respect differences, either in religion, culture, or political views. In Islam, tolerance is taught as one of the key principles. The Quran states that there is no compulsion in religion, la ikraha fid din, and teach that everyone has the right to choose his or her own faith. The Prophet Muhammad SAW was paragon of tolerance. In the events of Fatu Makkah, for example, the Prophet showed a very tolerant and forgiving attitude towards the Quraysh people who had previously antagonized him. Instead of taking revenge, he granted a general amnesty and protected the rights of all Mecca residents, including those who were not Muslim. In Indonesia, the values of tolerance are also applied in various aspects for life. For example, during Eid al-Fitr celebration, Muslims often share their happiness with their non-Muslim neighbors. Similarly, during Christmas celebration, Muslims in some area have to maintain the security of church, showing strong solidarity and tolerance. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, peaceful coexistence is a goal that we must achieve together. It is not only based on tolerance, but also requires cooperation and mutual understanding. Islam teaches the need to live peaceful, side by side, with people from different backgrounds. In Islamic history, in Andalusia, Spain, Muslim, Christian, and Jews lived together in harmony for centuries. They worked together in areas such as science, art, and trade, creating an advanced and inclusive civilization. In Indonesia, peaceful coexistence has also been cultivated. In Yogyakarta, for example, mosque, church, and temples can be found side by side, reflecting the spirit of harmonious coexistence. Indonesians have long practiced a life of mutual respect and cooperation regardless of religious and cultural difference. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest challenges we face today is the issue of hatred toward Islam and Muslims, known as Islamophobia. This hatred can take many forms, including discrimination, violence, and hateful rhetoric. Islamophobia not only harms the Muslim community, but also undermines social order and harmony between communities. For the issue, we need to take a multi-dimensional approach involving the government, civil society, and the international communities. In Indonesia, various efforts have been made to counter Islamophobia, including through education, interfaith dialogue, and doing public awareness. For example, interfaith dialogue and cooperation manifest in grassroots communities. There are religious harmony forum komunikasi umat beragama in almost all district or city. The Ministry of Religious Affairs has also established thousands of religious moderation village, kampung moderasi, in various remote area. This is to raise awareness of the importance of peaceful coexistence and respect for differences. Religious moderation is a middle way attitude in understanding and practicing religious belief, this avoiding extremism, fanatism, and free-flowing dialogue. The four pillars of religious moderation are national commitment, tolerance, non-violence, and respect for culture. With these pillars, religious harmony can be realized. Harmony in the midst of diversity can be established. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the values of humanity, tolerance, and coexistence are principles that we must uphold in facing global challenges, including the issue of Islamophobia through education, dialogue, cooperation, and fair law enforcement. We can build a more inclusive, harmonious, and peaceful society. This conference provides a very important platform and opportunity to discuss and promote this effort. I hope we can work together to achieve this common goal and build a more peaceful and harmonious world for all. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is all from me. Thank you for your attention and have a productive conference. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته وشكرا جزيلا لي.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat, who was representing the Republic of Indonesia, which is, of course, which has a very high population density, and it has a political weight. With all respect, Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, I avail this opportunity to present to you a very quick summary of some of the efforts exerted by the Republic of Djibouti, which I represent in this session. The Republic of Djibouti contributed to spreading the moderate thinking, and I may not, of course, present all the endeavors and the efforts of the Republic of Djibouti, but I wanted to cite the Institute of Moderation, Culture and Peace, which was inaugurated in March 2023 by the President of Djibouti, Ismail Omar Gili, to be a regional center to spread the values of tolerance, moderation, and to
renounce the hatred, and this institute reflects the commitment of the Republic of Djibouti to promote coexistence and tolerance in its regional and international context. And Djibouti is an oasis of peace in an area that is having tensions, the East African region, and we have in it Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, Djibouti, and other countries. And of course, we are also in the neighborhood of Yemen. As this former moderator is from Yemen. In the conclusion of this session, that is about tolerance, moderation, and Islamophobia. I hope that we have all benefited from the papers and the ideas that were presented from the respected scholars who presented their ideas, their opinions, and their experiences. And I hope that we can reflect these ideas into reality through cooperation and through solidarity in order to establish bridges of cooperation and communication, especially between the responsible institutions working in this field. And in conclusion, I may express my thanks to you for your attention, and peace be upon you. Thank you, Your Excellencies, to the chairperson of the session and the speakers in it, Your Excellencies. Now, His Excellency, the Chairman of the Conference, the Minister of Religious Affairs in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Dr. Abdul Latif Al Sheikh, is inviting you for lunch. Peace be upon you.